Now for number 8, we're going to find the inverse matrix of matrix E. And this one's a 3 by 3. Now this one, to do by hand, is a lot more time consuming, a little more intense. If we can avoid doing it by hand, we do. And so we're either going to use a graphing calculator or we're going to use Excel. So right now we're using Excel. So again, we're going to have the same dimensions as matrix E. So I'm going to highlight 3 by 3 equals, and we're going to go matrix inverse, highlight matrix E, Command Shift Enter. I'm going to change these to fractions, and then I'm going to highlight around the edge, and there is the inverse of matrix E. Now, just to maybe foreshadow a little bit of what we're going to do here in a little bit, if I multiply matrix E by the inverse of matrix E, I should end up with the identity. So I'm just going to do that down below just to illustrate. And again, I will end up with a 3 by 3 matrix. So I'm going to say equals, and we're going to do matrix multiplication. And I'm going to take matrix E times the inverse of matrix E. Command Shift Enter, and you see we get some weird numbers here. You know, it's supposed to be 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, etc. Well, we're just getting a little bit of round off errors. Sometimes that happens with calculators and computers. This is saying 2.2 times 10 to the negative 16. In other words, we're going to move this decimal over 16 places. So we have a lot of zeros in there. So essentially this is 0. So what we can do is mess with the decimal place just a little bit. And notice if I move those decimals over, it does end up being 0. So multiplying these two together, we end up with the identity matrix. Would it matter if I multiplied E inverse times E? So let me show that that's going to end up being the same. So this time we're going to do matrix multiplication, but we're going to do it in the opposite order. So I'm going to take this one first, and then matrix E second. Command Shift Enter, and notice we end up with the same thing. And I'm just going to mess with the decimals just a little bit to make those show up as zeros. So when we multiply E inverse times E or E times E inverse, either way we should end up with the identity matrix.